Get the net ready. I think I've got one.
I've got it. I've got to angle up this. Ah, ow! Ooh, hook!
Hold still. Let me try to get it out.
You just put a fish hook through my arm.
Accidents still happen on vacation. Make sure you're prepared when they do. Pack all your medications, insurance information, and make sure you have your identification. This project to support rural healthcare workers was made possible by a grant from the Center for Urban and Regional Affairs and was produced by the Icebox Radio Theater.
Hey, your artistic director Jeff here to let you know about another great IBRT program. Do you love audio drama but are looking for something a bit more visual? Allow me to introduce you to our good friend Victor of Victor's Reality. Victor is a successful YouTuber and IBRT fan who's building us the most amazing channel you've ever seen. It's IBRT audio drama with fantastic animated images that help tell the story. You can see stories from Frozen Frights, The Rack, Mystery on the Air, and more. Just head on over to YouTube and search for the Icebox Radio Theater, not to be confused with the Icebox Radio Workshop channel, which is run here in International Falls. It's radio now with pictures. But don't worry, Victor doesn't change a single line or sound effect in the audio. He just makes them better. That's the Icebox Radio Theater on YouTube. Check it out today by searching for the Icebox Radio Theater. Indeed. Hello, everybody, once again. This is Jeff from the Icebox Radio Theater, coming at you for the first time in a couple of weeks. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it was just 1 week. With another edition of the CRISPR. That's right, the news, information, gossip, and whatnot channel, or feature, I should say, from the Icebox Radio Theater and the Icebox of the Nation. That is, of course, International Falls, Minnesota. This is CRISPR number 692 for November the 16th, 2025. Such a week I've had. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we've done a whole bunch of IBRT stuff, but, well, there's been some traveling. There's kind of a heartwarming story a little bit about things that happened to my wife Diane and I on our recent journey to the Netherlands to meet a new grandchild that had to do with the IBRT coming to the rescue when our government failed us. So it makes it sound like it was a diplomatic incident. No, it's just a canceled flight. Whatever the case, we'll get to that in a little bit, as well as giving you a great update on the Christmas Carol, A Christmas Carol, that's coming up in a few weeks here at the John Faith Little Theater at Bacchus, and a lot of other stuff here on the IBRT. But first of all, one of my favorite things, of course, is we got to check out the weather because it's the Icebox of the Nation. Have a look. I caught it. We got on air just in time to enjoy a very, very nice sunset. Look at that. It is International Falls, some azure skies. As Ken from Hawaii pointed out, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the trees all look dead. Well, yes, they do that in the north. The leaves go away. The leaves are mulching nicely, and you can tell by the thermometer there in the corner, we're currently at 35 degrees. We were back up near 60 last week. And that would be nice, in the spring, but I think we're all kind of ready for fall. And now, of course, Christmas is imminent. So a little bit of snow wouldn't be a necessarily difficult thing to do or a difficult thing to deal with. I shouldn't say that out loud because it might come back to haunt me. Next up, let's take a look at the metrics for this week. Of course, yes, these are up to date because even though I did not do a full-scale CRISPR last week because I was out of the country, we do have good numbers because I did check up the numbers then as well. Twitter followers, we picked up a couple, 672 this week. That's up from 670 the week before. Facebook followers held steady at 933. We lost a follower on Instagram. Those are 310 this week, down from 311. Still 63 wonderful patrons, 40 fantastic members. Streaming radio station showed a little bit of growth. Unique listeners, 664. That's up from 650 last week. These listeners represented 73 countries. That's exactly the same as the week before. And, excuse me, our listener events of 30 seconds or less. That's, of course, just the folks that tuned in, checked us out, and then took off. 90.7% of the listeners are described that way, which is up slightly from 89.3 last week. The interesting thing, of course, is in our country total. We always look at what are the top 3 countries listening to our streaming station. Canada has supplanted Russia, which I don't know if that's an IP thing or if the internet just got shut off in Russia. It is a nation at war, after all. But the gold once again goes to the USA. Germany is the second most listened area, and Canada gets the bronze. So thank you very much, neighbors to the north. Appreciate that. Podcast statistics, we saw a little growth. Had a Rum Runner Sue recently, so that's good news. 30,068 subscribers across all of our podcast platforms. That is up from 27,512 the week before, or 2 weeks ago, as it were. So what's going on this week in the Icebox Radio Theater? Well, the big news, and I honestly don't remember if I mentioned this on the CRISPR back when it happened, so to speak, but we have changed the date of A Christmas Carol. It was originally slated for the Saturday, the 29th of November, which is the Saturday after U.S. Thanksgiving. That's when we did Miracle on 34th Street last year. We had a very nice crowd on the theory that a lot of people come into town because I Falls is a great town for, Grandma and Grandpa are often from here. And so people went to Grandma and Grandpa's house and then had nothing to do on the Saturday. However, there was a scheduling conflict with Douglas Screef, who I really, 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 really wanted to hear his performance as Scrooge. So we quickly turned things around, talked to the cast and say, look, can you do December 6th, which is the next Saturday? And everyone said yes. So if you follow us and look at our social media and whatnot, you're probably already aware of this because all the publicity does say December 6th. But that was the big thing. And I could not remember if I mentioned this on the CRISPR, that we, as a matter of fact, are making a change, which I feel fairly good about. And I also feel that I'm going to need the time because the writing is going fairly slow. Now, not Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol, we do have a complete script for that, and it's a fairly longish script. It's like it's probably it's 35 pages. I think that's closer to 45 minutes because there's a lot of very long passages. I probably should go and, we did an earlier production of this back in 2004. I should probably look up and see how long that one was, but we're not going to need too much of additional material. I do have one commercial written, funny commercial, of course, spoofy commercial, but if you have a business you'd like advertised on a live broadcast of the IBRT, let me know, and I'll make fun of you, or I'll write a straight commercial, whichever you like. And yeah, that's what's going on right now. I want to tease this. I don't want to make a promise, but there's a chance we will add an additional skit to the evening. And what I'm looking at right now is a Christmas-themed First Draft Playhouse. Haven't done a new First Draft Playhouse in forever, but we did one in Los Angeles this summer. We also did one. I think we had 2 at the Coffee Landing Radio Hours that we did this year. And so I'm kind of got a taste for it again, but the writing's going slow. I don't rush comedy. If I'm trying to write a comedy, I don't grind it out. If it's not coming, if I'm not feeling it, I just put it away and go do something else for a while. And that's what happened last week early on. So we'll see if there's a First Draft Playhouse. I might just produce it anyway for your pleasure and for your entertainment. We'll just have to see. But if you saw our official social media announcement for November, that kind of leaves us pretty thin. What I mean by social media announcement, that's the graphic that we put up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram that usually is a coordinated color to the season, and it says, okay, here's the things that the IBRT is doing this month. And all we had in November was Rum Runner Sue on the 13th, which I guess was that was just last week anyway. That's another piece of news. A new Rum Runner Sue episode has dropped. And the other one was this November 29th Christmas Carol production. So we're down to just Rum Runner Sue, which I felt was probably fine. I'm probably the only one that worries about not having enough content in a given month. But the gist of it is I would like to adjust things a little bit and at least add one more item this month. And I've decided that what that item is going to be is I will make the video from the Murder Behind the Mic show in Burbank, California from August. That's still behind a paywall right now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make that public on November the 20th, which is this week. this week coming up Thursday, November the 20th, just so there's another event happening in this particular month. So look forward to that. It was a fun show. This is the unedited version. I'll be honest with you, there's a better video available, and I might just go ahead and promote that as part of this. But the original streamed video that went out to those wonderful folks, so many of them who bought tickets to that show, that will be available for the public on November the 20th, or this Thursday. So look for that, and also, just look for our social media, our social posts, and we will make sure that goes out to everybody, including the members and patrons. So yeah, a lot of other scheduling going on. What can I say? The other bit of business, I do want to remind everyone who's a member that you have about a week and a half left to, actually about 2.5 weeks now I think about it, to vote in our big upcoming elections. Many of you have already voted. Thank you very much for that. We're a nonprofit organization. We have to run by a board, and our board has been wonderful. And it's to some extent perfunctory because we don't have anyone running against each other, but it's nice to get the support of our members, and I shouldn't say patrons, because if you're on Patreon, you don't automatically get to vote. You have to be a member to vote. But please do that. If you can find the post in your email or your social media, drop me an email again at iceboxradio51@gmail.com, and I will happily send you the link again, because that's very, very important. Okay, so the big reason that I haven't done too much in the last week is that Diane and I were once again out of the country. Just to bring everyone up to date, we have a son who is married and living in the Netherlands with his lovely wife, and there are now 2 children. See, there was a second child that we hadn't seen. Real quick. Coming in, Sheila is here. He says, "Hi Jeff, Sheila on Paul's phone." Sheila, do we need to get you a new phone? Is that what's happening? Because it's the second time that's happened now, where she loves to listen live. I love the fact that you do listen live to the CRISPR, and thank you so much for doing that. But anyway, where was I? Oh yes, the big Netherlands trip. So it was just a flying trip because we really wanted to meet this grandson of ours who's brand new. He was born in August. His name's Elliot, and originally the plan was for them all to come over here this winter for Christmas, that everyone would come to the old homestead here in I Falls at Christmas. Just not going to work due to a myriad of reasons. And we said, well, actually, Diane said, well, if they're not coming here, we're going there because we got to meet this grandbaby. He's wonderful, by the way. So is his big sister. His big sister is delightful as well. But where this relates to the IBRT, I think, is kind of the end of the story. If you don't follow the news, you should be aware that the U.S. government just ended a very, very long shutdown in which government employees didn't get paid, including air traffic controllers, who are the purview, I think, of the Department of Transportation. Therefore, they're federal employees. The government, they didn't pay the air traffic. They didn't pay the soldiers in the military either. So interesting priorities those folks have. But they dealt with this. The airlines, that is, dealt with this by limiting flights because the guys that have been working as air traffic controllers haven't been paid for a long time, and they're getting slightly disgruntled, and they were calling in sick because I imagine some of them actually are sick, but some of the rest of them are saying, look, we got to do something to break this free. Whatever the case, Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport does feature a lot of short-range flights. If you walk through, in fact, they have a whole pair of gates. Gates A and B are for the small planes, I call them. They come to I Falls. They come to Bemidji. They come to Rhinelander, Wisconsin. They come to Fargo. Well, Fargo's a pretty good-sized town, but you get the idea. And it was those flights that were getting canceled, including ours. And we found this out 24 hours or so before we were to leave Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam and fly home. I don't think they were going to touch the international flights because that was problematic. Anyway, so we sat down and kind of addressed the problem like a couple of theater kids that we are. When it works out, it's actually a lot of fun to have a crisis that you tackle, right? So what we ended up doing, we looked at our options, And our options were basically we could delay our trip and hope that the next day the flight from Minneapolis to International Falls would go through, which it did not, actually, as it turns out. So we're looking at our options, and we decided, okay, how about this? The closest town to us in I Falls of any size is Bemidji, Minnesota, one of those towns that no one can say correctly unless you live here. And Bemidji has an airport as well. It also has a state university. It's not small. It's not 6,000. It's more like 20, I think. And so we came up with the plan, Diane and I. Let's trade our ticket to I Falls for one to Bemidji that night, and then let's beg all of our friends to come and give us a ride home. See, the issue is driving time. Minneapolis-St. Paul is about 5.5 hours from International Falls. Bemidji is just under 2. So you see the advantage there. If we ask someone, hey, drive to I Falls and give us a ride home, our other option would be to rent a car, but then you got to get the car back to the city. It was a whole thing. Point is, before I hit social media or anything else, I just sent an email to the Icebox crew. And I said, does anybody have the ability to come pick us up on Wednesday? This would have been Wednesday this week in Bemidji, and give us a ride home. And wouldn't you know it, Justin and Claire, Justin Kapla, of course, and Claire, his girlfriend, who was our engineer on the last show, said, sure. So they borrowed a car that belongs to Justin's mother, Jody, who never misses a show. His father, Joe, is actually on the board. We can't get Jody on the board for some reason. But they, on Wednesday morning, on his day off, basically, made a round trip to Bemidji just to give us a ride home. And in addition to that, kudos go out to Karen Schickel and to Jim Yunt, who both responded, look, if the ride with Justin doesn't work out, let us know. And it just gave me such a warm feeling in my heart to know that when I needed help, these people came through. The Icebox family came through and popped us. It was a beautiful day. We had a lovely drive, lots of conversation about Christmas Carol and theater and whatever. You know, Claire, we've been underutilizing Claire because Claire has a lot of theater degree and a lot of theater experience, and she did a wonderful job engineering for the last show. I'm trying to utilize her. Probably should get her in there decorating, shouldn't I? Because it's Christmas and we got to dress up that theater somehow. Just saying, you know what? It was so wonderful to have Iceboxers come through for us in our hour of need. And we really, really appreciate that. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong, there we go. I was looking at what the time of this particular feature, and it came through as 18 minutes, which is about right, because they're, like I say, it's basically been getting over jet lag and doing a little bit of writing since I've been home. Okay, so next week, as I mentioned, Thursday, we'll be premiering a video. We'll be premiering the Murder Behind the Mic video on YouTube. It's there now for anyone who bought a ticket, but it's behind a paywall. So we're going to be making it public. Looking forward to that very, very much. What else do we have going on? Not a lot until the show, I got to tell you. And I will probably be able to give you an update next week about how the writing is going and what other programs we might do. Oh, I should mention casting. Preliminary cast, as I said, Douglas Grief will play Scrooge. I'll be in there. Justin has agreed to be in the show. Carice has agreed to be in the show. Ayla was unsure. We're not sure. Karen Schickel said she wanted to be in the show. And I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, yes, Dalton Johnson. Dalton Johnson will be in Christmas Carol at all. I'm really happy with this script because I went through and cleaned it up a little bit. It is my adaptation. I wrote this, I wrote this in 2004. And I had to clean up the script quite a bit and make some changes. But I'm already hearing the sound design. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I will be doing live sound effects. Foley, as they say. So if you'd like to drop a little bit of money and see the live video of me making a fool of myself, but making interesting sounds because of it, by all means, that's available now. You just got to go to iceboxradio.org/live, and you can get either a ticket locally here if you're going to be in the area and would like to attend the show, or you can get the live stream ticket. I am going to go ahead and say we will broadcast the show audio only on our streaming station because I think that works well. And I think what we'd like to do is continue to offer it up for free, audio only, in the hopes that people will be curious and encouraged, listen to a couple of these live broadcasts and say, you know what, I want to turn around and I want to watch this happen. I want to watch the magic happen. I want to see the sausage being made. Ugh, maybe not. And in order to do that, I have to drop a ticket. And this time, as I say, the live stream tickets are going to be about $5. Modest, right? Helps us out with the theater. You're all a wonderful support during the fundraiser, by the way. We're in pretty good shape right now. But hey, if we sold tickets to online shows, wouldn't that be just spectacular? Once again, 20th on Thursday, we're going to be looking at a video premiere on YouTube of Murder Behind the Mic from Burbank, California, last August show. And other than that, it's just going to be focused on Christmas Carol. I'll probably put together an announcement pretty soon to decide what we will be broadcasting in December. It's not going to be Dracula, unfortunately. I could never put the Halloween stuff up in December. It just feels wrong. But you can expect Dracula sometime in the dark months of January once we get through the holidays. That's it. iceboxradio51@gmail.com is the email address, as well as Radio Icebox on Instagram and Icebox Radio on the Twitter and the Facebook. So until next time, this is Jeff saying thanks for the download and reminding you to keep listening.